Here I am in my backyard. I'm gonna just kind of walk around and spin in circles so you can see everything around me. Since, as you maybe can tell, I cut off my own insulation in a contest at my school for No Shave November, I figured now would be a great time for me to show you my other insulation that's gonna keep me warm, since my beard will not do as good of a job keeping me warm in the winter. Whoops, I just stepped in a hole. Here they all are in their warm, downy splendor. We have an Eagle's Nest Outfitter Ember 2. We have the Enlightened Equipment Convert. We have a Yukon Outfitters Wildfire and a North Face Aleutian 35 sleeping bag. One thing that I was never a big fan of on the Wildfire quilt was the Velcro. Of course, in the winter you're going to wear bigger socks, so I would wear my wool socks and the other side of the Velcro would stick to my socks, ultimately tearing open the foot box. So I only tore off this side of Velcro, the more rigid part. Then I just put in some metal cam snaps. So now I can just snap it together to make my foot box. On the Enlightened Equipment Convert, one thing I really love are the buttons and the snaps. So right here we've got a button that's 16 inches or so from the bottom, and that allows you to snap both sides together just like so right here. That helps hold the foot box together, as well as up higher about 3 feet they have these snaps, so you can actually zip it up and buckle and snap it. That way your zipper doesn't get pulled open when you're wiggling around in the middle of the night, and it stays cinched up, making a nice big foot box. I'm going to start with the first piece of insulation I ever got. This is my Eno Ember 2. I got it at the same time that I got my Eno Jungle Nest. I believe it's rated to about 50 degrees. I've taken this on winter camping trips as well as summer, just to help add that extra little layer because it is so form-fitting. You notice right now it does not lay flat on the ground. It does fit on the hammock really nicely, especially on an Eno, of course. It's a little bit shorter. It is 46 inches by approximately 82 inches, but the measurements are a little wonky because it is so domed. And as you can see, it is tapered a lot on both ends. This does allow it to fit up pretty snug on the hammock, but what I've noticed, if my feet ever stick out just a little bit, they have a tendency to fall completely outside of this piece of insulation. So I'll wake up in the middle of the night and my feet will be just flopped outside of the Ember, and I'll just have to readjust myself in the middle of the night, which isn't too big of a deal. You can see there's not a whole lot of loft on this guy, but like I said, it's only rated about 50 degrees. And what I noticed, I think an even bigger benefit, is actually just the wind blocking ability. I'll take this on kayak trips when it's pretty hot outside, and I'll use this, and I can tell a big difference just from blocking that little bit of wind, how much warmer I really am. Here it is, zipped completely open. You can see right there, it does have a pocket. That's been nice when I try to keep my GoPro in there, or my phone, my batteries, things like that I want to stay a little bit warmer. As well as, it does still sort of have partial foot box, so your feet can still get stuck in right about there, and then you can still flop the top over. Or what I've done a couple times is I have my hammock run right through here, and then I can make this into a pea-pod system all the way around my hammock. I've only done that once when it was a little bit warmer. You're still able to use the hood and then to flip all the rest of it over on top of you. But it does offer quite a bit of coverage. I definitely like using it more when it's open like this, instead of trying to sneak my way into it when it's all zipped up. As you can see by the strip of orange all the way around, it does have a draft collar all the way around, which leads us to another nice feature. Boom, right there, there's another little zipper. It's only about 14 inches long, but that has made a huge difference when I've got my wider shoulders trying to get in there, is I can actually leave that part unzipped, get the full length zipper zipped up, come over, reach over across my body and zip up that little one. And again, the little Velcro piece can hook right over here, right there, excuse me, and it keeps it all from coming undone. And here's a close up of that pocket. I like it too because there's no Velcro, so it doesn't get stuck to anything. This is actually the first quilt that I've ever had. It is the Yukon Outfitters Wildfire. I don't actually know what the rating is. I'm thinking it's like 40, 45 degrees. But again, I'm a warm sleeper, so it's kind of hard for me to tell sometimes. It does have a detachable hood on the top, which again, you can cinch tight around you. Use that little cinch guy right there. Or you can just take the whole thing off. Going around to the bottom. It does have a cinch on the bottom, and you can turn this into a foot box, as I mentioned. But this is what it looks like when it's just laying flat. Again, kind of like the Ember 2. Not a whole lot of loft on that guy, but again, it's not rated for very cold weather. Here is the Wildfire, all cinched up and ready to go with the foot box down to this end. And I have it upside down so you can see the hood a little bit better, as well as a feature that I did not even realize was there the first few times I used it. Hidden right here, same color, is a little pocket, but it does have Velcro. Sometimes this is getting stuck on my shirt and things, or just wouldn't quite hold stuff, but it's still there if you want it. Has a little bit of a draft collar right here around the zipper that can take the hood all the way off. And as I mentioned earlier, here's the cam snaps that I put on there because I just wasn't a fan of that Velcro sticking to my socks. And here, you can cinch the end closed. That's cinched as far as I can get it. You can see there's still a hole in there. So what I've actually done before is if I have an extra pair of socks or even a beanie, I've stuck it in there and then cinched it down, and it closes the hole up pretty nice. I'll give you the dimensions on this guy in just a minute. Here it is laid completely flat. As you can see from right here, there is no taper to it. So it is about 46 inches wide, the entire length, and it is 77 inches long. Here's the hood. When you take it off, you notice you actually lose about 4 inches when you take the hood off from that little collar area. So it could be up to almost 8 inches long. But there it is in all its bright orange splendor. And my tape measure that I've been using to tell you guys the dimensions, because I forget real easy. I definitely have saved the best for last. This is my Enlightened equipment convert. I've used this as a top quilt, as an underquilt, as a pea pod. I've used pack attach clips so I can get it to hang underneath as an underquilt. I already said underquilt, so my brain is stopping working. This thing is a beast. It's camo on this side, and it's got the burnt orange on the other side. Almost looks like dirty orange with the down in there. And speaking of down, this thing's got some good loft. Right there, you can see my hand. Whoop, there it is. So it's right about there. Whoop. Oh, from the tip of my finger about my thumb, a couple inches of loft. This thing is toasty warm. It is considered an extra long and an extra wide. I've had nights where I think it was down to like 28 and ended up stripping down to pretty much just a pair of gym shorts, and I had to have this thing lowered away from my hammock to let in some cold air, and I had it just completely opened on top because I was getting too hot. It's kind of hard to tell, but it does have a good taper on it. What I like is that the taper starts right about there. So up where your shoulders and my big old belly are in there, the taper doesn't start way up high. So I still have plenty of room for moving around, and it does taper from there all the way down to the bottom. The nice cinch cords at the bottom. And as I mentioned earlier, it's got buttons and snaps, no Velcro, which is phenomenal. So right here, of course, way at the bottom, where's my finger? There it is. We've got a button there at the bottom where you cinch it up. We've got a snap there, and a snap there. So there's 3 on the way up. So you can actually wrap this around a sleeping pad if you're sleeping on the ground. And those straps help keep it on the pad. On your hammock, it just helps a ton with keeping it closed up as you wiggle around. So you don't have to worry about the zipper just like slowly creeping down as you sleep. Ooh, look at that. Now you can tell the taper a little bit better. The dimensions for this beast. Foot end, right there. We got 45 inches wide. At the head end, I just forgot. 61. Whew. Sorry, slipped my mind. And full length, 84 inches. That's 7 feet. I'm 6'2". By the time you bunch up the ends, if you want to pea pot it up, it still has plenty of room. I've got a couple inches above my head. Nothing is tight. It's wide enough. As I mentioned, the taper doesn't start till right about here. So the question I get asked most is how the zipper works, because people have heard that the zippers don't work very well on this. If you're staying pretty flat when you're zipping up and down, I haven't had any trouble. So I'm going to show you how I can zip it up pretty easily and not have it snag. So here we go. Laying in my hammock. Come on over. Grab the two ends. And zip away. Not a snag. Now, while you can see me, I'll go ahead and show you this thing too. I mentioned there's buttons right there. We snap them together. Now your zipper's not going to come undone down here no matter how much you yank on it. And we've got double-ended cinch cord. So instead of just pulling from one side, you can cinch the whole thing up. Bring the little buckles down. But another great thing, you do the same thing up here. This one's a little different, and I like it. I can be in my hammock, reach over my head, grab this little guy, and with one little slider, I can actually continuously pull, let go, and now this end is completely cinched up too. So you've got your own little burrito right there, and if I lay down on it, you can see it's long enough for me. I'm 6'2". I can fit all the way inside there in my hammock, no problems. And I can already feel how warm this is behind me. See how fluffy it is? Look at that fluffiness. This thing's awesome. Have I said that enough? This thing's great. Okay, so if I'm in my hammock, of course I'm gonna take my shoes off. I wanna get this thing all zipped up around me. I have the bottom end cinched and snapped together. The zipper's right here. Get all up in there. Now, I mentioned the snaps. Here's buttons right here. There's a snap right here. There's another snap right here if I really want it, which I'm not going to snap yet. And then if I'm in my hammock, grab my zipper. Look at that, not a single snag. Pull it up, slide my way down. Now, normally I would zip it up and then cinch it, but if I want to go full pea pod because it's super cold, grab this guy right here, press the button, pull, and it starts cinching up the top. Then if I want to, I disappear into downy glory. And unzipping is just as easy. Oh no, I hit one snag. Oh, there, it's out. So snags are not a big deal. Then I hit my little snap, unbuckle it, undo my button, and if I get hot, I can always lay it flat to vent some air. Sorry, I had to fix my hair. So, I've got my convert down there on the ground. Super warm. I'm actually starting to get like red, and see my cheeks are getting red. It's not because it's cold. It's because I was starting to get warm when I sat in there. My vest is almost a little too much. So those are the only 4 pieces of insulation I have. I've got 3 different hammocks, 2 netted ones, and a Wilderness Logic's Night Owl, which is kind of my new favorite. If I don't need to keep any bugs away, that's my new favorite hammock. So I like to use that one. It is a lot longer, which is nice. So when I use this guy, he fits in there really well. And what's really nice is, if I can get him in the picture again, there we go. Let me switch to my other view. There we go, now I'm behind the camera again. So what I love is that when I have this one on my Wilderness Logic's hammock, which is a lot longer, you know, of course your hammock runs right down the center, but you sleep on a diagonal. So I can put my head over here, put my feet way over here, and I never have the problem that I have with the Ember 2, where my feet will slowly fall out. And the other thing is, you can see right there's that little black dot. That's one of those buttons or snaps. So if I snap that one, it keeps the whole thing together, and there's no way for it to come undone for my feet to flop out, which overall keeps me warmer.